Welcome to Sparked, a journey of soul and spirit. I'm Niccy, medium, soul guider, and your spiritual cheerleader. This podcast is your space to reconnect with the spark within, explore the unseen world, and deepen your trust in your own soul's wisdom. Each episode, I'll walk beside you through stories of spirit, lessons from lived experience, and heart-to-heart guidance to support your path of awakening. Whether you're navigating your gifts, healing your heart, or just curious about the magic of it all, you are so welcome here. Because your soul's journey is a spark that matters, and you don't have to walk it alone. Let's get sparked. Hello. Holy dooly. You do not realize how many takes I have had on the introduction of this episode of this podcast. It has been a crazy morning. Now I'm 2 hours into my working day and I've just started to be able to be in a role to be able to present this podcast because there has been many setbacks. There's been lots of technical difficulties. There's been a phone call. There has been everything to kind of allow me perhaps to realign my day. And so again, I take it as a lesson. I say again because any complications that do arise, I have in all my power to turn it into a little lesson and move on from there and not dwell on why it was so. When I was getting ready to leave for the day to drop my son at school and my partner at work, it was really bizarre because I had this vision of me actually recording this episode at my mum's house. And so I even got my laptop ready, I got my microphone ready, I got all the things ready. And then I'm like, well, no, because I have my own house, so I really do not understand. So of course I just went about my day. I came home and yes, there is when the computer complications happen, internet signal, just everything under the sun could go wrong went wrong. And so, and you can hear it in my voice, I'm actually a bit stuffy. My son has just is just getting over a cold, and of course mum got it too. But anyway, yeah, that's probably just another layer. I should add that because that is kind of a layer to my morning and how everything's going. Oh, lordy lord. But the thing is, what's quite interesting about this is that, as I said, I kind of envisioned me recording this episode for some reason, and I kind of just brush it off with recording it at my mum's house. And so here I am at my mum's house, and this is probably take 1007. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating just a little bit, but this is where I feel aligned. And yes, I'm sitting in my mum's house. I've got my little warm green tea to the side. I have her heater on, so thank you, Mum. She's not here, mind you. She's at work. But what is the cherry on the top is that it is actually the memorial, the celebration of life for my nan and my uncle. So my mum's mum and my mum's brother, who, yes, I have, of course, spoken about especially heavily in my grief episode. And so it just makes me wonder, do they want me to have that comfort to be able to sit at my childhood home, my mum's home, and do what I love to do? Is it comfort then for my mum to come home and probably still have me being working and whatnot, and to just sit with mum and have that support? More than likely so. They are very clever and they orchestrate things so well, and so much so, of course, that their memorials of their life here on earth, of course, is the same date, 2 years apart. So if that's not a sign in itself, I don't know what is. And what's also really beautiful is I've actually got a number 1 notification, little red notification on my computer right now, and it's like bouncing, and it's a little number 1, which is really sweet. I look down and there's another notification and it just says 1, and then I see, of course, it's the 1st of the month, so there's another 1, and I look up and it's almost 1111 on the clock that I can see as well. So okay, I'm settled. I'm here, guys. I'm here to my loved ones. I have not tuned in to actually speak to them more. I haven't tuned in to kind of see what messages they do have. I did actually receive a message today in saying that, and one of the messages was love is big, love big, and another one was love is unconditional. So a lot of love messages. So thank you so much, Nan. And I'm sure you are now softened, Uncle Greg, that you say love too. So yeah, there's my little intro before we even get stuck into this series today, because it's been a whirlwind and I thought that I'd share it with you. So not all of our days go as planned, and this is just one of mine. But we're going to get stuck into this episode and why it's important for me to actually make it a little mini series for spiritual cleansing, which is, spiritual cleansing 101, and we're starting with grounding. I'm also editing as I go, so I just thought that I'd give that a whirl with this podcast episode also. And when I'd done that first take, it was all nice and smooth. Thank you. I looked up and of course it is 11:11, or it was 11:11, because now I'm doing this section of the podcast. I look up and it actually switched to, of course, a photo of my nan. So I say switched to because we got my mum a slideshow digital photo frame, and it slid to a picture of my nan hanging out with my mum and my sister and my nephews. And I look up right now, and I'm not even kidding you, now it's switched to a photo of my nan, me, my little doggy who's in spirit with nan, my sister, and one of my nephews. And that's incredible. That shows you guys, well, not shows, but it's a sign, and signs still make me flutter, and especially when they're signs for me. And it's just beautiful. It's one of those things where I do need to stop and smile and be so grateful to be able to strengthen my gifts, to be able to strengthen my abilities, just like you all do, and to receive those messages from loved ones in spirit. It's just so beautiful, mind-boggling. Okay, sorry, off topic again. We are going to start with grounding. I may have even said grief earlier, did I? I don't know. It's been one of those mornings. We are going to start our mini-series of spiritual cleansing with grounding. There is no way I could fit all this information in with one episode for spiritual cleansing altogether, spiritual hygiene, I shall say. So I'm going to do grounding first. I'm going to then go into protection next week, and then the week after I will be then going into cleansing. So we've got grounding, protection, and cleansing. So let's start with grounding. You will hear me harp on and on again that this practice is for all. It's not for any particular person. It's just how we adapt it into our daily lives. But this is for all. This podcast is for all, even if you have that curiosity, of course. Listen in. Grounding isn't just a spiritual practice, so let's just remember that. So you may hear, of course, spiritual in the spiritual industry. Do I call it that even? That it's a human one. So grounding isn't a spiritual practice, it is a human one. And just remember, those that do energy work, psychic mediums, healers, Reiki practitioners, we are human as well. So please just do not forget this, that those that you seek healing or to guide you in your healing processes and progresses, we are human too. And so it's about remembering that you have a home inside yourself and really take that time for yourself, a place you can always return to when the world feels heavy. Your mind feels loud and your heart feels so far away. And you know what? I can't speak for all. Again, I always hamper on about that this is from my experience, but the world does, of course, feel quite heavy at the moment. And I think it's because we, of course, are quite exposed to so many stories and all the yucky media shit, I shall say. But I'm not calling the world event shit. Of course not. Well, they are. Actually, they are shit. Some of them that have come up. But that's heavy. That weighs heavy on us. And those that are sensitive and that want to open up and lead by heart, we can feel when the world is heavy and we get all of this information. And there is a sense of us feeling quite helpless. And we need to kind of reframe and remember that what we can do, and let's have a positive impact in the world, because not everyone does. Unfortunately, not everyone leads from the heart. Not everyone sits and reflects and thinks about their inner self and their true authentic self to be able to shed some love and light into this world. So, a lot of us have been called upon to do so. And this is why grounding is so important, to be able to come back to self when everything feels heavy and shit and yucky in the world. Over the years, I've realized that when I don't ground myself, I feel so anxious. I feel so disconnected and almost like I'm floating above my own life. It just feels like as if it's that whole, freeze or fight response. And, there's so many responses now, but it is kind of talking about our nervous system, about alignment and so on and so forth. I start to spiral into future worries or past regrets. I lose touch with my intuition and even speaking to spirit, because it's like I feel so foggy that I can't even get into that zone. And, with that present moment. So again, having that present moment for me to actually have to do this podcast intro to this episode time and time again, for me to actually have to sit there and just to have a look at those photos sliding by on that digital photo frame, it all kind of resonates to just be like, we got to breathe. We have to stop, and we have to be present in that moment. For me, grounding isn't optional, and I'm hoping that for you also after this episode that it's not optional either, and it is essential. It is my anchor. It's my way of saying to myself that I am here, I'm safe, and I belong. I am a sufferer of anxiety, and I have been for quite some time. I am an anxious being, and I do think faster. Let's label or medical label, I have ADHD as well. And so things start to feel more faster in my mind than what they actually are in the present time. And so grounding is such an essential tool. It's not just an essential tool for those that suffer from anxiety and ADHD and all of the things. It is for all of us just to come home. Before we dive deeper, I also want to remind you that I'm not a medical professional, psychologist or doctor. I'm sharing from my own lived experience and spiritual perspective. If you're experiencing severe anxiety, or you feel like you may have ADHD or mental health challenges are arising for you, please know it's okay and often necessary to actually seek medical advice or professional support, I shall say. Just to look down all the avenues that you can on your healing journey. And sometimes you do get that peace of mind, I guess, when that diagnosis is labelled, just because you know that you're not alone in the way that you're thinking or what's happening, to you or to your body or all of the things as well. So just understand and know that there are options, and it is scary when you hear of diagnosis of any mental health issues that shall arrive within your path or for you not feeling aligned. Grounding is a beautiful supportive tool, and this isn't a substitute for medical or psychological care whatsoever, but these are tools that are very, very helpful within our spiritual path. So when you feel ungrounded, there are ways of feeling that you are ungrounded. And that is anxiousness and jittering and like we can't settle. So it's like we're very much high alert. We feel really overwhelmed so easily by noise and people and even our thoughts. So this is when, especially going into crowded situations, going into supermarkets and things, this is when we would feel, quite overwhelmed, really jittery, quite anxious, and all the yucky thoughts could come into your mind. It has happened to me, and not just once either. Like, I've gone into supermarkets and it's been so overwhelming by noise and people, and it's felt so yucky that I've actually even had to leave without even buying anything. And so that affected my day-to-day life with having to stop, but also honoring me and my body and how everything was feeling as well. You'll feel scatterbrained, so even unable to focus as well, and just it's really hard to be able to continue on with what you're doing. It does feel like you're floating, like you're disconnected from your body, so it just feels quite bleh. That's the way I'm going to describe it. Bleh. You're a lot more emotional reactive as well when you're ungrounded, so it's quick to lead to frustration or anger as well. You feel quite clumsy or dizzy, so you literally feel like you're floating in space. You're bumping into things a lot easier. You're spacing out. Your restlessness, like you're feeling really restless. You can't rest. Like, you honestly feel like as if even if you wanted to go down for a little nap or getting ready and jumping into bed for the night, to feel restless and unable to rest deeply or sleep properly. These are all signs that you are ungrounded, that you're high alert, that you're not feeling aligned. I was so eager to jump into my spiritual practices, like having more plays with oracle cards, like magic divinations, like even, having my crystals in my hand. And I did not know anything even about the word grounding. I'm not even kidding you. Like, here I am growing up. I've had, as I said, many diagnoses on things, and not once was I introduced to what grounding meant. I'm not kidding you. I had no freaking idea what grounding meant. I had no idea what cleansing and protecting your energy even meant before I stepped into wanting to play and delve into my spiritual development. And so this is why it became quite scary when I opened up and I started playing with oracle cards. Yes, that is energy work. Even if you just want to play for yourself, that is energy work that opens up energy. And so when I went into it, I had no idea. I was completely open, and looking back, I'm like, holy Christ. Now I understand as to why I went through what I have gone through as well. And I continue to, but of course I do have a lot of knowledge now than before. So my mediumship and my intuitive guidance, I just felt so open at the very start and so sensitive. And to be honest, it was so overwhelming. There were days where I'm like, well, is this worth it? And I'm like, well, I can't ignore it. I would walk into like rooms more and I'd feel everything. People's energy would stick to me like glue. But at this time, I had no idea that it was happening, and I carried it around for days. I felt panicked. I'd go into shops and feel like as if I was going to pass out. I felt disconnected and so far from myself. And of course, we cut so many layers of ourselves whilst we go into this and have so many awakenings that we are so much more open and raw, and this is where we then need to come back to self. Learning to ground changed everything for me. So I realized that no matter how connected I am to spirit, if I don't root myself into my own body first, I can't hold space for anybody else. And I can't feel safe within my own skin. So feeling that safety, feeling that protection, grounding brought me back. It really did. And I want to harp on about it because it is so important. It reminded me that my body is a safe place and that I belong here in this moment as well. So you can start to feel super frazzled. So if you're feeling like, oh, wow, I check many of those boxes, I can really resonate with Niccy right now. There are many beautiful ways to ground, and this is where you're going to find your rhythm of how you're going to ground. Please, I urge you to ground every single day. Cut 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes out of your day and learn how you can adapt grounding, especially this is just speaking for me. I love to do it in the morning. It sets the tone for my day as well. I encourage you to explore and to find what ways are most supportive for you and your body. So some options you can take from this is that there is a word, and you may have heard it, called earthing. And earthing is just walking barefoot on Mother Earth, on that ground surface, on grass or sand. I'm very grateful and thankful. My earthing, and it feels so earthy, I can do it on the red dirt, on the red outback dirt. I'm in Broken Hill. I live in Broken Hill. I'm from Broken Hill. And so that red dirt honestly feels so connective. I do love to do it on grass as well. You don't see much greenery around here, but we do have grass. There is people that tend to their grass really, really well. And so having that grass, the grass underneath you as well is so nice underneath your feet. And just stay there for a bit. Just tune out and just really think and tune into your feet touching that surface as well. Another cool one as well is very Mother Earthy and Mother Gaia is tree visualization. And so just imagining yourself as a strong tree, a strong, wise tree, and your roots are reaching deep into the earth, deep into Mother Earth, because she's going to take care of you. She's grounding you. And so to be able to just visualize those roots just going right deep into the earth, it just feels like as if you're a lot more stronger in that time as well. And this is something not to rush, and hopefully you don't have to rush it, but even if you can just do it for 5 minutes, these tools are still going to be so supportive on your day-to-day lives. Breath work is a big one, and being that I come from such an anxious background and having suffering anxiety, breath work can come across quite intimidating, I must say. So that those deep belly breaths with slow conscious exhales, so that's helped me so much to know that you inhale through your nose and then just leaving that big exhale deeper and longer. I'm not a breathwork facilitator, so I'm not going to instruct you on how to do those techniques, but just coming from that human experience, coming from a person suffering anxiety, just doing those nice big deep 3 quality deep breaths are so helpful, especially as I said, that huge exhale out is so nice. Our sensory tools are such a big thing. I did want to add that because even last week I found some sensory cubes, squishy cubes, just at my reject shop. For those of you that do not live in Australia, reject shop is also kind of an equivalent to dollar store, and so they had some sensory tools in there. I got some really nice squishy cube things. I'll I'll have a photo. I'll pop a photo up on my socials. And I actually got one for my son, and I had to go back and get one for me. So holding just a smooth, squishy object, or a smooth stone even, a piece of textured fabric, or using essential oils is such a beautiful one as well on your wrist. And small sensory anchors can just be so powerful. Sensory toys aren't just for children. Please remember that. I'm going to repeat that. Sensory toys are not just for children. They can support adults too when we're feeling a bit more ungrounded, feeling sensitive, feeling anxious. Physical touch is a good one just to come back as well. Placing a hand on your heart. I'm going to say your left hand, just to give you that hot tip, because it is closest to your heart. And then one on your belly, and just giving yourself a gentle hug. Just hug yourself. I know it may sound strange, but it's helpful, and it helps. It can help. Movement is such a beautiful one, and it's one that I love to adapt. I love to intuitive dance as well, and this is for me. This is my downtime. So I put on some somatic dance type music, and I just go with it. I just flow. I'm removing the excess energy that I have, especially having ADHD and anxiety. I'm shifting that energy as well. And yoga is a really beautiful one. Have a look at all the different technique yogas that you can you can try out. Warm foods and drinks. I'm saying this whilst it's winter here in Australia, and I've got my warm green tea next to me. So herbal tea is really beautiful just to sit there, just to sip on. Nourishing meals like root vegetables, anything warm and comforting is always grounding. When you think of winter and you're cozied up near the heater and you're having a nice soup, like that is grounding. Sound is a good one. As I said before, I love sound frequencies as well. Calming music, drumming, humming, softly even to yourself. These are things you can try out. Don't think it's weird. If this is going to help you ground, it's going to help you ground. Nature connection just in general. I love sun soaking. You may have also seen post prior, but I love being able to actually look up at the window, even if I can't go outside, even if it's just from my reading room. Prior to starting my day, I look up at the sun and I close my eyes and seeing that warm glow, and just to feel that warmth on my face and then anchor myself into the surface. It's just I'm actually feeling grounded speaking about it right now as well. Sitting under a tree with a tree, gardening, as simple as even just popping your hands in that soil, taking that time to look at the soil and to feel it on your skin as well, to feel it on your hands. Simply just stepping outside for a little bit when you can, noticing the sky, just taking that time and just looking up at the big trees. I am very grateful and thankful that my backyard has these beautiful wise trees, and to be able just to stay still and look at those beautiful roots of the trees are so amazing. And here's something really important whilst I'm going on, is that we don't want to wait until we're in the middle of anxiety spirals and panic waves and things as well. This is why it's really important to have a daily routine, a daily ritual of a grounding technique that is going to work for you, because then you're not going to feel such severity when it comes to an anxious time or to an overwhelmed time or to a panic time. You're going to come back to self with that routine that you have started practicing and keep practicing. Grounding is more powerful and it becomes a daily ritual, a loving habit for yourself, so that when your challenges do come up, your body and your energy already know what safety feels like. We want to feel safe. Practicing regularly means that when those moments of overwhelm arrive, we don't feel anxious or panicked even as much, or it may even feel foreign to start with, to actually feel contentment and to feel aligned. You already have that strong inner foundation ready to support you, so you're feeling so much more supported. You are supporting you as well. And when you feel more grounded, when you feel more safer in your body, You might, have these beautiful feelings of feeling calm and steady inside, a deep, slower, more natural breath, more focused and present. So you're feeling present. Your mind feels clearer and less cluttered, so it's not a lot of noise up there. Safe in your own body, safety, rather than just floating above your body, you're in your body. You're able to respond rather than react. A gentle sense of belonging and ease. So just being grounded doesn't mean you'll never feel anxious or overwhelmed again. It just means you have a safe inner home to return to whenever you need. A great effective way to ground your energy are self-guided meditations. So you can jump on things such as Insight Timer, which is a beautiful app to ground yourself. There's a lot of meditation musics, there is talks, there is self-guided meditations, there's journeyings, there's a lot in one app, which is really nice. So I even encourage you, I'm not even sponsored, but to jump onto Insight Timer. There is payment options for certain classes, courses, meditations and things, but there is free resources on there as well. But what I'm also going to gift you today is a bonus meditation on here on my podcast channel for you to understand what it is. And, if you haven't explored self-guided meditations before, I will take you through one as well, which I'm really excited to be able to give this to you. So that won't be on this episode. It's going to be a bonus episode, just because you might be driving your car right now. You might be doing the dishes, like anything that you're doing right now. Of course, you don't have to do a meditation right at this very time. So that's why I'm just going to pop it into being a bonus episode, just so then when you are ready, you do have that time. You're away from distractions. You're able to then go to this meditation. Okay, but I really understand why I had to do a mini series of spiritual hygiene, because this is just the grounding episode, and it's probably the longest episode I have had out to date, which is episode 5. But anyway, this is the longest I've really had a chat with you all, which is really cool too. I got to take my time, and I wasn't rushing, and I wasn't then thinking of, okay, let's talk about protecting, let's talk about cleansing, let's talk about all the things. So grounding is something you can return to at any moment of your day. So as I said, I love to do it definitely in the morning, but you don't have to just do it in the morning. You can come back to that. It's not about being perfect. So it's about coming back to yourself. You're going to find not all grounding techniques are going to work for you, and it's going deeper in to understand what one is going to work for your lifestyle and what you do in your job and being a mum and doing all the things as well. I share these practices because I know what it feels like to be lost in anxiety and to feel disconnected and to long for a sense of home within myself and to feel safe. My deepest wish is that these words and tools feel like a gentle invitation to return, to your breath, to your body, and to your truth. It feels right. I invite you to journal on these today, even if you want to as well. So that's another option, is that you can ground, and you can ground you can journal on grounding. What does it feel like to be truly grounded? That is something that you can journal. Here's a journal prompt. So what does it feel like to truly feel grounded? What small daily rituals or sensory anchors can help you come back to yourself within the day? Our next episode will explore protecting your energy, protecting you. You can stay strong and sovereign in your own light. So until then, thank you so much for listening to me waffle on. Thank you for choosing to root into your beautiful self. You are so deeply loved, supported, and never alone. Thank you for being here with me on Sparked, a journey of soul and spirit. Before we close, I want to acknowledge the Willakali peoples, the traditional custodians of the land in which I live and work. I pay my deepest respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening today. If this episode sparks something within you, I'd love for you to follow along. Share it with someone who needs it, and stay connected as we journey deeper into soul. You can hop over to my website, nickysoulguidance.com, for more details, offerings, and a space to connect with me directly if you have any inquiries or want to explore this path further. Until next time, trust your soul, follow the spark, and honor your heart.